How's everyone doing? Today I have a Scream Factory Blu-ray haul. 5 pickups, all horror, all from Scream Factory. Scream Factory just had their Shocktober sale. Let me know if you picked up anything from Scream Factory for their Shocktober sale. I've got 2 4K titles in here, and then the other ones are Blu-rays. So let's go ahead and get into it, and let me know if you've seen any of these and what you think of them, and which one is your favorite as well. Leave me all those comments down below. First up from Tobe Hooper is the Funhouse, and I'm happy to upgrade this one on 4K. I picked up the Scream Factory Blu-ray previously, and it didn't have the slipcover, and I really didn't like the artwork for that one, so I'm definitely happy to pick this one up. I do like that classic artwork better, and it is interesting. These are considered collector's editions, but this one does have reversible artwork. Not all of them do, so you have to kind of check and see. That creepy mouth right there for the monster character, which was awesome. It's about a group of friends that go to a carnival and they witness something they shouldn't, and there's this creepy monster character, and they're trying to fight to survive after that. But yeah, I'm happy that actually has the reversible artwork like that, because again, not all of these 4K ones do. So, you know, is it really a full collector's edition if it doesn't have that? You're paying a premium for these releases, also for the packaging, because we are physical media collectors. But yeah, this is got a bevy of bonus features right there, and I'm excited to check out the transfer. This is again from Tobe Hooper. Let me know what your favorite Tobe Hooper movie is. For me, I feel like everybody says TCM, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably like my 6th favorite film from him. Life Force would be number 1, then Poltergeist, then I'd say maybe TCM 2, then The Funhouse, then Salem's Lot. You know, it was a miniseries, but you know, it's a movie essentially. And then TCM. I like, you know, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It started it off. It was very influential. But for me, it's not my favorite in the franchise for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's probably like my 4th favorite. I would take. I really like the remake, which a lot of people don't like, and I love the beginning. A lot of people don't like that one either. And then I would take TCM 2, and probably TCM 3. I really like that one too. But yeah, I know those aren't the popular choices, but I just feel like it doesn't hold up quite as much for me, the original TCM. And I know that's kind of almost like sacrilege to say, but just my personal opinion. I feel like people say it's so bloody. It's not bloody. If you watch it, it's really not. And then some of the characters are just so obnoxious. They're just, I don't know, it's just too much for me and annoying. But I was kind of rooting for a lot of them to get picked off. But a very influential film, but again, not my favorite from Tobe Hooper, or not my favorite in the TCM franchise. But really happy to pick this one up on 4K. So looking forward to revisiting this one and, you know, seeing the new transfers for these. So another 4K title is Dog Soldiers, and this is from Neil Marshall, who also directed The Descent, which is, both of these I think are modern classics. And he also directed the recent Hellboy movie with Hopper from Stranger Things, which was okay. Definitely paled in comparison to the previous ones from Guillermo del Toro, but it had great visual effects. I'll give it that. But otherwise, it was just, it wasn't, you know, for me, I'd rather watch the previous 2 Hellraiser or Hellboy movies, Hellraiser. But yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of hard to live up to those ones, but with a huge fan following. And but I digress. Let's get back to this one. Dog Soldiers. Let me know what your favorite werewolf movie is. For me, I feel like this is, everybody's either, you know, probably everybody picks American Werewolf in London. But this would be probably like number 2 for me. And I feel like most people. Silver Bullet is usually like number 3. But a couple ones that I think are really underrated are Howl, which I always mention Howl. It's a British, another British werewolf movie. Some of the better, you know, werewolf movies are UK releases, you know, or even American Werewolf in London takes place in London. So there you go. But Howl is just so underrated. I never hear anybody talk about that one. And then Wolf in Snow Hollow, I think, is a really unique take on the werewolf genre. And I used to say American Werewolf in Paris, but I actually just rewatched that one, and it does not hold up to my memory of it. It's, you know, a product of its time. It's 1997, I think it came out, which I was actually shocked. I thought it was like 2000, 2001. But yeah, that's not how I remembered that movie. I can't give that one a strong recommendation anymore. Sometimes, you know, you rewatch a movie after so long and doesn't live up to your memory of it, and that is definitely the case there for An American Werewolf in Paris. But so yeah, Dog Soldiers, my number 2 favorite werewolf movie. Happy to pick this one up in 4K. Are we going to see The Descent in 4K? I think that would be amazing. I'd love to see, you know, Scream Factory get the rights and do a cool collector's edition. And then again, a bevy of bonus features. And I've heard great things about the transfer. The previous Blu-ray release, I heard just previous, you know, couple releases for this film, I heard terrible things about the transfer. I still had my old DVD Steelbook, which I was able to get signed up by Neil Marshall. In fact, when he did an in-store signing forever ago. So still have that one. I'm always going to keep that one because, again, I love the movie. But let's check it out to see if it has reversible artwork. And there's the discs right there. No reversible artwork on Dog Soldiers. Womp womp. So it seems to be really hit or miss on the reversible artwork. You know, I'm going to show you the excuse me, disc artwork for the Funhouse as well. There you go. I don't think I did before, but happy that one has the reversible artwork. Bummed Dog Soldiers doesn't, but love the heck out of this one. Great werewolf movie. And then I don't remember the dog quite looking like this one for Pet Sematary 2, directed by Mary Lambert, who did like a lot of music videos and stuff. She directed the first one, but I remember she did like a lot of Madonna videos and stuff. And she did, speaking of, she worked with a lot in the music industry, especially, you know, female singers and stuff like that. But she did, Mega Snake versus Gatoroid, some really terrible, cheesy, like sci-fi movie with the, you know, that when there's that craze of the Mega Monster movies. And she did that one. She directed it, and it had Tiffany and Debbie Gibson in there, which I think is actually hilarious. So kind of going back to her roots with, you know, the music video and stuff like that. Pet Sematary 2, 1992. This has that 90s feel, like grunge, the clothing, the vibe to it. I remember Clancy Brown was great as like the abusive like stepfather right there. But it has Edward Furlong, Anthony Edwards in here too. They moved to the mother's hometown. She passes away, and again the abusive stepfather, and he kills his dog, which is terrible. And they bring the dog to the pet cemetery, and things take off from there. But I remember really liking this one, and I'm excited to revisit it. I haven't seen it in a long time. So some good bonus features right there. And yeah, I remember that artwork. I think I already, reversed this one. Yeah, because this is the Blu-ray. The Blu-rays typically have the reversible artwork. So I dig that. That's the classic artwork I remember. But I feel like if you're going to say it's a collector's edition, it should have the reversible artwork. And for the price point for a lot of these ones, like, you know, some of the 4K titles are like $30. So, you know, I mean, give us some reversible artwork. And especially since we've been conditioned to expect that from Scream Factory. So it's a bit of a disappointment when it doesn't have that. And I know some people always complain, you know, or say that, why are you complaining about that? It just, you know, you're not watching the packaging. Yeah, but we're physical media collectors. Like, especially for them, we're paying a premium, and it's a collector's, it says it's a collector's edition, so you expect it. But I digress. And then I picked up House of Wax. And I was actually surprised this one came with a slipcover. It's a little beat up, dinged up right there, but I'll take it. And this one, I remember making a post when I was getting ready to watch it, and I said, oh, because I remember it being like cheesy fun. It's not that cheesy at all. I think it's just a really entertaining slasher that got a bad rep because of Paris Hilton. And the whole, like, you know, the advertising marketing for it was like, watch Paris Hilton get killed. And her death scene is awesome, by the way. And this was actually a really good film, directed by John Colette Serra, who directed The Orphan, The Shallows, which is my second favorite shark attack movie after Jaws. Deep Blue Sea's right there, too, but it's a great character-driven shark attack movie that doesn't get enough credit. It gets a lot of criticism, but I love the heck out of that one. He also directed Jungle Cruise and Black Adam, so a couple The Rock vehicles right there. Interesting that he's doing these big blockbuster, you know, budget movies, and, you know, he used to do a lot of horror stuff, and I hope he goes back to horror. But this was way better than I remember it being. I remember, like, in my mind thinking it was like kind of cheesy fun, but this is actually a really good slasher movie. And it's a remake of a remake. The Vincent Price one that everybody thinks about is actually a remake of Mystery of the House of Wax. Maybe that's what it was. I can't remember the exact title right now, but that was a, you know, I want to say like an older film from, I don't know if it was 40s, 30s, something like that. But that was actually really good too. And then the Vincent Price one is incredible. And this one is actually really good too. I remember talking about there's a post on like a Facebook group talking about what's your favorite horror remakes. And they were saying, don't mention, terrible ones for, being a joke or trolling. And I said House of Wax with Vincent Price. I made sure to say with Vincent Price. And they were saying, I said, don't make troll comments or joke. That House of Wax one's terrible. And I had to reply and say, did you read my comment? I said with Vincent Price. I'm not talking about this one. And this one's good in its own right. But the Vincent Price one is an incredible one. I feel like most people don't even realize it's a remake. But Mystery of the Wax Museum? Mystery of the Wax Museum. I think that's what it is. I'm trying to remember the very first one. And that was, again, a really good, creepy one, too. So I'd recommend all of the movies in the House of Wax realm. But yeah, this was shot in Australia, and I love the actual House of Wax, how it's made out of wax, and towards the end, it's melting. It's just claustrophobic and incredible and really good, intense. Just about a group of friends that are going to a football game, and they take a detour, and then they start camping out, and they have a run-in with somebody, and there's like this small town they're trying to get help because their car isn't working, one of their cars, and then they run into some people that maybe they should go the other direction. But yeah, I love this one so much better than I remember it being. I think this one deserves more recognition. I feel like it got written off because of Paris Hilton and just people thinking it was a cheesy, ridiculous slasher, but it's actually really good. There are some cliches and tropes, but much better than I remember it being, and it deserves more credit. And some good special features in here too. I watched some of the interviews, and which was interesting. Paris Hilton included. Her interview was kind of talking herself up, hyping herself up a bit. She's like, oh, I wasn't sure about this. Acting in this movie is my, I guess it was her like acting debut in a movie like this. And she was talking about how she was a horror fan, but she hadn't seen the original Vincent Price one. She wasn't familiar with it. But then she was also saying, how she was nervous about shooting. And she said, I killed it, though. And I was like, oh, my God, come on. Overall, really good. Happy to revisit this one and add it to the collection. Reversible artwork right there. That's the classic artwork that I remember. The visual effects are so friggin' good in here. Worth the upgrade for sure. And happy to get the slipcover, even though it is a little beat up. I can't complain. And next up is Session 9, which this is directed by Brad Anderson, who directed The Machinist. Also directed, Vanishing on 7th Street, which wasn't that great. I still liked it, but The Machinist is incredible. Happy Accidents, too, with Marissa Tomei and Vincent D'Onofrio. But The Machinist is like an all-time favorite movie of mine with Christian Bale. That's the movie where Christian Bale was a gaunt and he lost all the weight. He was eating like a can of tuna and an apple a day, and he lost just so much weight. And that was such an incredible movie. It's the only movie I've ever watched where at the end, I was still trying to figure it out. And then it took me a couple minutes. I was like, oh, I had that like epiphany. And I just thought it was incredible. And the performance from Christian Bale, phenomenal. And then he did, losing all that weight and then, putting on a ton of weight and muscle for Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. So blew me away. But yeah, Brad Anderson, those are definitely my favorite. Session 9 and then The Machinist. He's done some other stuff too. He's done a lot of TV work, including some great episodes of shows that I enjoy. But this one is a great psychological horror movie. This is one of those movies where I first watched it and I didn't like it. And then so many people were like urging me to give it another chance. And then I'm so glad that I did, because I gave it another chance and then I ended up loving it. This and Chasing Amy are the two that really stick out in my mind, where I didn't like them initially, and then after a rewatch, I love them. This has been on my wish list for a while. It's one of those things where I got the DVD, I got rid of it, and to pick up the Blu-ray, and then I never picked it up, and I have it on my Amazon wish list, and then stuff just keeps getting added, and this gets pushed down. So happy to finally pick this one up. Good special features on here. David Caruso, I feel like most people think of him for CSI, Miami. He was in Jade, which I remember being pretty good too. But you've got some other recognizable people in here, and they're cleaning out a mental institution, and they actually filmed at a real mental institution. Was it Danvers? I think it was. I don't think it says on the back. No, it does. Danvers. Yeah, okay. So my memory, pretty impressive on that one. But super happy to add this one to the collection again, and can't wait to revisit it. I remember it being really creepy, atmospheric. That is disturbing. But really good psychological horror and great performances, especially from David Caruso. This is probably my favorite performance from him. So definitely happy to pick that one up and can't wait to rewatch. A lot of these ones, I've seen all of them, and it's been a while for most of them. So looking forward to revisiting. Dog Soldiers, actually, I watch that pretty much like every year. House of Wax, I just rewatched and loved it. But yeah, Pet Sematary 2, it's been a long time. Session 9, it's been a few years. Funhouse has been a few years, so can't wait to revisit them, especially with some of the new transfers and stuff too. Let me know, again, if you've picked up anything from the Shocktober sale from Scream Factory, and let me know if you've seen any of these and which one is your favorite, and what you'd like to see horror-wise get the 4K treatment. There's been a lot of horror 4Ks coming out, and I think there's still a bunch of ones that need Blu-ray releases, let alone 4K releases. But I feel like Dead Alive, there was that rumor that it was going to get a release for the Peter Jackson early films, Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and then it's been a couple of years now, and it still hasn't happened. So that would be cool. And the Dead Alive previous Blu-ray doesn't look great. I still have that one. It's out of print. I remember getting it like the $5 bin, and now it goes for over $100. Mind blowing. But there's a lot of ones that need re-releases or releases in general on Blu-ray, but it'd be nice to see the 4K treatment for some of them, especially like Dead Alive. That's an all-time classic, one of the bloodiest films ever. It's so crazy to me that he did Meet the Feebles, Bad Taste, Dead Alive, and then he did Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies. Like, that's crazy. But super happy for these ones, and leave me all those comments down below, and I hope everybody's doing well, and take care.